Coming up next, Virtus Pro versus Optic Gaming.
All right, folks, welcome back in. We are here with our, I think, fourth game of the day, Optic versus Virtus Pro. Obviously, Virtus Pro, the last major winners. They're looking pretty good. So far, the underdogs have not had such good success against, I guess, the better teams here.
Well, that's why they're underdogs, Mont.
Yes, exactly. I suppose so. So Optic, it's going to be a rough game for them, but they have some great players, obviously. 3-3, you and I were talking about him. I think they've been switching it up in terms of the roles and switching. Like Zai can play the off-limit, so can 3-3. They've done a pretty good job so far. They had a pretty good showing at ESL as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Optic could maybe take it. I mean, it's a best one. That's the thing, Brax.
You wouldn't be surprised if they can take it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the issue. You don't know what's going to happen with these drafts. Maybe we'll see a Dark Willow. Maybe we'll see a Broodmother pick.
Well, if we go by the current stats of today, we will not be seeing Dark Willow.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Obviously, Virtus Pro, though, they're the heavy favorites, so something to consider. I mean, they literally did pretty well at the major. They kind of just destroyed it, actually. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them get off to a fast start here, but I think people aren't going to be giving Optic a fair shake. They could certainly do well in this matchup.
Yep.
And I think a lot of it's going to revolve around Zai and what he can accomplish. I mean, we've seen his play on different heroes. Nature's Prophet, he played pretty recently. He's got a lot of solid heroes that he can play. And I think in terms of offlaners, he's one of the best out there right now.
Yeah, Pasha as well has been looking very, very good for a long time, I would say.
Yeah.
Used to be a carry player, back on Vega with no one.
Yeah, he's been around the ringer, and now they're together. They have Roger. That was like the big roster switch up. We saw Lil and Roger switch it up, and my God, did Roger look good at the ESL Major. Like, they destroyed. That guy is a player and a half, let me tell you. But
Roger has looked so good since TI, I would say.
Yeah, like, we'll see what he can do here in this particular game, but that's how I think they were able to win the last Major, just playing off of him. The switch was, I was surprised at first when I saw Lil go over to Navi. I thought, okay, this guy's really good, and they're getting Roger back. And I saw Roger do a lot of good stuff for Navi, but the fact that he was able to own so hard is
very surprising for us without the inside scoop to see the switch on the outside. You know? It looked like this team's good.
Yeah.
You know, they look solid.
That's why they make these switches. That's why they have all the information, and that's why they are the major winner for Virtus Pro. And now they're going to try to win another major as we jump into the draft. Virtus Pro versus Optic. We'll get underway. There's the Dark Willow band yet again. We're not seeing this hero, I don't think, anytime today.
No, I'd like to, though. It's interesting.
It's a fun hero. We talked about how strong it can be in the 5 position, and even in the offlane as well. She just does so much. You have 2 ultimates, essentially. Bedlam does so much damage.
What is this hero's identity?
What do you mean?
What is she?
Well, that's the question. And I don't think we're going to find out anytime soon, sadly. So,
you know, in pubs, it's fun to play the offlane Dark Willow, but is that actually, where this hero belongs? I have no idea.
Yeah. That's something maybe we might find out later in the tournament, but for now, we'll have to look elsewhere. We have the Elder Titan ban, a strong hero for Virtus Pro. They're going to take it out. Optic, of course, have their next ban available. So usually it's like Razor or Gyrocopter banned out, not both. I would assume if the Razor gets banned, which it did, the Gyro will stay in, and then Optic or whoever wants to pick it can pick it. Virtus Pro do have the first pick, and they ran it a lot in the last major. Like a lot.
What stands out, Mod? Who's missing from the ban
Omniknight as well. I mean, they also ran the Omniknight a few times for Virtus Pro, so something to consider.
Yeah. I'm more thinking about Tiny, the little man. We get to see this guy grow up through Dota. Starts off as a young little rock, grows up.
Yeah. He even has trouble holding the trees at the beginning of the game, but once he gets that grow, he's good to go.
He's struggling at the beginning, but it makes him stronger in the end.
So Optic will ban out the Omniknight smartly, as they picked that hero along with Gyrocopter in many of the Grand Final games, so something to consider. But again, Gyrocopter is available, and this is something that Virtus Pro likes to run a lot. We'll see if they want to pick it up here first overall. There were some changes, the homing missile changes, obviously, but that's so far not deterred people from picking the hero still.
Yes. It's like it's one of these nerfs that doesn't actually change the hero that much. Makes it a bit weaker, but still functions in the exact same way, which is nice to see. Chen, okay. This guy's great.
Yeah, we saw it last game. Didn't work out that well, but now the IO comes in with the Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter, the combination. The extra 2 seconds to tether also something to keep in mind with the IO changes at 7.10.
Oh, yeah, that's real big.
That's big, dude. Come on, listen.
Mon, I love IO. His new, it?
We don't know. Ask Slacks.
IO's new new set of talents with the tether-giving Aghanim Scepter is my favorite thing in the game. There's so many different combinations that you can pull off with this. You have Gyrocopter. You've got a free side gunner. 4,200 gold value right there.
What level is it? Is it level 15 talent for IO to get the Ag Scepter bonus, I believe?
Yeah, and then 20 is that he auto-attacks with whoever he's tethering.
So the issue is it's even tougher to get experience nowadays as support. So
Well, hear me out on this. All right, so this is when you bring out the core IO.
okay.
Toss him in a solo lane, toss him off lane, get him some early levels, get him some farm. Boom, you hit that 15 extremely early.
I like where your head's at.
I've been theory crafting this for a long time.
What would you
Mom.
build on the core IO?
To be determined.
Okay. We'll
We-
keep that in the in the back burner.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually.
I don't want to take away from the rest of the draft, though, Mom. We have Tiny coming out. I love Tiny.
So we saw Tavo play last game. It didn't really work out. This is in the capable hands of Virtus Pro, though, and we'll see what they can do. Speaking of Tiny, also, I've really enjoyed seeing teams like Fnatic run it in the 4 position for DJ,
Yeah.
where you go the max toss avalanche combination, and you play it like an old Tiny, and you try to get to that early blink dagger. I'm not sure that it's going to be picked in that role because they already have a Chen to work with, first of all.
Yep, highly unlikely.
And I think they like playing it in the core role, but just something to consider that teams can do that. It is a flexible hero.
Yep, that's the beauty of it. You've got so many core heroes that can just be played in multiple positions. By the way, that man right there, not him, the previous one, Mr. 33. Big fan of his offlane play.
Yeah, he has done
He's
some
very
good
good.
work for Optic since he's joined the team. They're starting to qualify for a lot of tournaments. Obviously, they're here, and we'll see what they can do. I mean, they're against Virtus Pro. We talked about it. They have a chance. Every team has a chance, but it's not going to be an easy game. I do like IO Gyrocopter in terms of the opening that they have, and we'll see if they can get some other good heroes with the rest of their draft. But for now, we have some bans. The Disruptor ban, which we saw in the last game, that seems to be one of those, and they were talking about this in the first few games, is that it's one of those heroes that you don't want to ban in the first phase, but it's a good support right now. It's just a solid support. You have
Right.
the Disrupt, or you have the Static Storm to work with, and it's pretty good, I think. in
He's
terms
on
of-
like that high tier list where you don't really want to ban him. There's so many other heroes you want to ban
Yeah.
out first, but he's solid. He's very good in most situations. So, big problem here that I see with Optic Gaming's draft is how is the IO going to fare against the Chen's pressure? Who is IO going to play off of? Who can he empower in the early game to get through this Chen pressure? Because you could potentially have this Chen Tiny off lane, again, threatening your safe lane. IO won't want to play there, right? He doesn't do anything. Sorry, IO doesn't do anything. I don't know IO's gender. I don't want to be wrong here, okay?
They could send IO Gyrocopter top and have somebody down in the safe lane kind of just sack it, maybe.
Right, they could. But then it's this laning support that's leeching the entire time that needs to play and empower someone else, right? Like, we used to see the IO Tiny combo, which is a thing of the past now, just because of the way these heroes have been reworked and everything. But
So you're thinking of a hero besides Gyrocopter?
Right,
Like an Ursa or something?
essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Or like the Chaos Knight.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks extremely unlikely in the current draft just because of the heroes that are picked, but you need somebody to play off of because IO doesn't actually do anything on IO's own, right? IO empowers someone else.
Oh, this hero. He's been buffed a few times. He has
Okay.
now better, I think, intelligence gain,
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
And then zoom in on Peter's stash, looking good.
Yeah, it's quite the stash. I like it. It's really coming in. It's really coming in, let me tell you.
It is.
He's got a lot going on there.
Give me a little ranking system on that, 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10?
Yeah.
I no.
All
It's
right.
not I don't think it's up there, let me tell you. That guy's stash, he's looking good.
Okay.
Posh is looking good. So, anyway, so we'll see what they want to play with the IO Gyrocopter. They have another pick. They could go for something, obviously, you said the CK, probably not likely. I mean, what other hero is available that you pair up with the IO then?
So sometimes you see it paired up with a support hero, like we used to see IO Sand King. And then IO would tether in the boost Sand King. And then you would just be able to dual roam and pressure the map like that. With Crystal Maiden, not exactly the same.
No.
Let's see, what is this? Tide Hunter. Okay.
I think with the way Tide's being played now with the phase boots kind of build, you can maybe at least have the IO up there and help him out a little bit. Just run in, start hitting people using Anchor Smash or two. But yeah, it's not the hero that you maybe were thinking of in terms of playing off of the Tide.
Yeah, it's interesting. It can be played quite a few different ways. Sometimes you can just enable your Gyrocopter's farm, stack a whole bunch of camps like we've seen in the past. Gyro cleans them out, IO leeches some experience, gets some levels that way. Yeah, Tide looks pretty good this game. Pretty low damage on the side of Virtus Pro. You have the burst damage from Tiny, Oracle does some magic damage, but Tide Hunter, once he farms that hood, this man's not dying.
Yeah, he should be fine. Penitence in the early game could probably do some work against him, but
So does this Oracle mean that VP's going to pick Death Prophet? Because I don't see any...
it's banned out though.
It is. I don't see any outstanding reason to pick this hero.
Well, what else pairs well with the Oracle? I mean, Huskar theoretically could be, but it's not a hero that's picked up anymore, honestly.
This could be Dragon Knight,
Yeah,
potentially.
that could be good. DK, again, he has been touched, nerfed a little bit, but he's still strong. He's still tanky. He doesn't necessarily do as much damage now, but
He's not that good into fighting Tide Hunter, though.
Yes.
You know, they kind of counteract each other's strengths in the early game.
They picked the
Alright.
Juggernaut, and that's kind of interesting against the Tidehunter with the Anger Smash. That's something to consider.
Virtus Pro's lineup is so shaped towards grouping up, right? You have this one stun in the Tiny. There's only one way for VP to be able to start a fight reliably in the mid game. You know, before you can smoke up and wrap around behind people and stuff. Once you get to that stage where tier 1 towers are taken, you have Blink Tiny. That's about it so far. Feels like they need something else, especially when you're playing against the IO who can always reset and take one of these heroes out.
It's so interesting. When you don't have a Razor or a Gyrocopter, it seems like Juggernaut's the other option in terms of grouping up early with Omni Slash and Blade Fury.
Yeah, it's very strong.
It's kind of... It's just those three heroes I think of when it comes to the sort of meta that we're playing into right now, which is a lot of fighting and a lot of grouping up. Pugna is another one of those heroes that I think about a lot too.
I mean, it's especially good against all of Optic Gaming's heroes, right? IO does nothing to Jug. Jug hunts IO. Gyrocopter, dodge all the magic damage. Crystal Maiden, same thing. Tidehunter, does absolutely nothing to Jug. And it's also a hero that can lane pretty decently against the Tide. Spin does a lot of damage to Tidehunter.
Yeah, and just making sure you can get and deal with the Anchor Smash. But I mean, at this point, yeah, Jug's going to do a lot against he finds the IO or the CM alone and they just die.
Yep.
With a solo Omni Slash.
There's no instant stun to catch Juggernaut off because before he spins, right? He's always going to get his spells off against this lineup.
Yeah. So that's a very good Jug game for Virtus Pro. Now we're waiting on our last few bans. We see the Puck ban coming out from Optic.
Yep, that would have been a fantastic hero for VP to start some of these team fights with, or just catch in general.
So it's looking likely that it's going to be the Chen Tiny offlane again, potentially for VP, and they pick up the No One hero now.
I'd like to see that. I think it's extremely strong.
We saw Pain have success with it, but see if Virtus Pro can really capitalize on it. And this is what you were talking about, the DK, the last pick coming out for Virtus Pro. This is something the Oracle can keep him alive with False Promise. Just a generally solid hero in terms of grouping up as well, even more so.
When you have a lot of early game team fight, like Optic Gaming's lineup, you are restricted by... Your nukes need to finish off whoever you go on, right? You're relying on your levels of your abilities just to burst some target down. When Oracle comes out and is able to save a hero like Dragonite or just reset the Juggernaut so he can get a spin off, they're going to survive every time. You're going to run into some major damage issues early on in the game. Let's see, what is this? Storm Spirit, okay.
A hero that can get out of control. Works well with the IO in certain regards. CCNC playing it. He can easily take control of this game. They can get towards that late game, I think. Storm can really help him out a lot here. What do you think?
One of Triple C's favorite heroes.
Yes.
Storm Spirit paired up with the IO as well.
He's going to have a pretty good time, I think, potentially. It's just getting past that laning phase, potentially, and getting this farm on the Storm Spirit.
Can we talk Ags tethers? Please.
The Electric Vortex.
You have the Black Hole Electric Vortex.
Yeah, that's right.
And you have the Tidehunter Gush. That's actually the best one.
Oh, the Wave Gush, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You think that's the best one out of all of them, really? Not the Side Gunner, not the Electric Vortex? I guess the Ags is pretty good on Tidehunter.
Well, the thing about the Storm Spirit one is you have to tether him as he, after he flies in, right? So you can get the effect. Tidehunter, you can just tether him casually.
Yeah,
and
he
then
just walks up and just gushes people.
Exactly.
All right, I like it. So you're really counting on this level 15 IO.
I just like to see it. I think it's cool.
I mean, it's going to be, we'll see if they can't get there. They need to get off to a good start here. But again, a lot of pressure from Virtus Pro coming out. We'll see how it goes for this next game as we're going to jump into it. So this game, we'll see. I mean,
there's a lot of weight on Storm Spirit's shoulders this game.
Yes.
There'd be a lot happening. But it's, I would say, the right game for it, right? Look at the stuns from VP. You have Dragonite stun, short range, dodgeable, tiny avalanche as well. And then after that, he's free.
We'll see what start they can give CCNC, but again, it's kind of early group up from Virtus Pro. Ramses is going to have a pretty good time, I would imagine, against this Tidehunter like you were talking about. They're going to pressure with Pycat early in the bottom lane, though, with Zai rotating in as well. Ramses just getting run at. Pycat will throw up a rocket barrage or two, but just some harass. So maybe they have the ward down here. Do you keep the... This is what I was talking about. Do you keep the IO and the gyro down bottom, or do you think they're going to switch this up?
Oh, I think they'll keep this, and then Tidehunter will just solo safe lane against the Tiny. I think that's the best. That's one of the best approaches, honestly, because it does make the off lane the safe lane for the Tiny, essentially, right?
Yeah.
He gets to pull the lane back, he gets that advantage, and then your supports can't zone him at all, and then you have to worry about these potential 10 rotations coming in The medallion comes out ridiculously fast on Chen nowadays as well.
It's like the first item we saw in the game Kuroki or Liquid were playing it. They just essentially had a smoke and then the medallion. That was all he had. That was all he needed.
Medallion with the penitence, right clicks from Chen creeps, kills anyone.
It's pretty insane. Speaking of Chen, Roger has been found out by 3-3, and he did use the Gush. PPD's already used the Frostbite. He doesn't have enough mana for another one. 3-3 is going to try to contest, but he walks up a little bit too slow, and Roger's fine. He has the help of Ramses, who has rotated into the top lane. Now Solo is getting chased down by Zai. They tether on through. They have the Rocket Barrage in one, but obviously the TP will complete, and he will get out to safety.
Yeah, Roger knew he was fine. He had the TP scroll available the entire time. Not chaseable. Now Tide has Gush level 1.
Yeah. So that's...
it's not the greatest.
Not the greatest, indeed, but we'll see if they'll be able to get some more extra experience to get out of there. But for now, we'll see how this mid lane matchup goes for the Storm Spirit. And, of course, bottom, they'll have the Tiny against the Io, and the Gyrocopter might be a little bit rough, but he does have Tree Grab, and Tiny is pretty strong in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, Tiny should be okay, and it's also one of these heroes, once he gets levels, they have to be a bit afraid on the side of Optic Gaming for any potential Chen rotations. So, lane setup looks pretty decent for VP. Optic have quite the advantage in the mid lane. Storm Spirit versus DK. Storm free farms the lane, and DK doesn't really pressure him at all. So
Yeah.
that should be good.
Although he has started out pretty well with 6 last hits, now up to 7 against the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, doing very well.
The Fortune's End on to 3-3. Oh, God,
boy.
they've got the Stormcrafter. Here he is. They'll
Not the
frostbite it, though.
Not the Stormcraft.
And they get first blood with it as well. Solo comes in, gets a couple of auto attacks on, and now PPD gets zoned out as well. That is quite... That's Gush level 1. He still can get to level 2, and then he gets zapped by a Stormcrafter. Not fun for 3-3 on the Tidehunter.
Yep, fun ruined by the Stormcrafter.
Yeah. So pretty good start for VP then. I mean, 7-1, 7-1, 5-1 on the Tiny. They're all doing really well. CC&C should be able to get back into this lane. So too should the Gyrocopter down in the bottom lane, but not good to lose that Tidehunter at the early stages of the game.
No, definitely not. Oh, man.
Where's the Chen in all of this? He's rotated mid with the Shard Golems and a Mud Golem, so he has 3 different Stone Tosses to work with.
Oh,
Pro
man.
Boulders.
Tiny's family coming in.
Yeah. He's ready to fight, but he will instead rotate elsewhere as the Storm Spirit was down to the bottom rune spot. He's going to head top. They can really still apply a lot of pressure here. They can potentially dive this tier 1 tower. Ramses is in deep, actually, but he will get gushed. And he'll need to be a little careful with PPD. PPD out of mana.
Well,
does have the level 1 Arcane Aura.
Roger with the family.
Yeah, they're coming in. They're going to try to maybe spin on this with Ramses. He's at the level 2 spin. The
Oh, no.
double, triple toss into an auto attack. Ramses doesn't even need to use the spin. And he will salve up as well. And just like that, assassinated on the CM.
No chance at all there. It's just, it's hopeless.
Chen actually destroys in the early game. Doing so much damage to the CM. Not much you can do about it. This is a rough lane, actually, when you think about it.
Oh, it's an extremely rough lane. Chen can bring almost any creep. I mean, we saw the Stormcrafter come in. Anything makes a difference.
The zap. And Pasha getting pushed back in the bottom lane. So this at least is going well for Pycat. They have some decent farm here. They're kind of just, this is an off lane, essentially, for the time. They're kind of just sacking him. There's not much they can do at this stage in the game. Maybe the Chen comes down bottom a little bit later. I'm not sure if that's going to help, though.
You know, he's still going to get everything he needs out of this lane, though, right? All he wants is some basic levels, some, you know, just regular farm. He's totally fine with that. And he's also so tanky they can't actually kill him and push him out of lane.
Not without a third hero like the CM rotating down, but he needs to help out the Tidehunter in the top lane. Tide is starting to recover, though. 10 last hits. DK is still doing really well in the mid lane against the Storm Spirit, surprisingly. And the Jug, of course, having a great time in the top lane. So we'll just keep our eye on Roger and where he moves to next and what he can get done in terms of getting kills. But for now, it just seems like it's going to be static for a while. It doesn't seem to be too much movement here.
Yep, so Optic managed to find a lane for the IO, throwing him in the off lane with the Gyrocopter to avoid this offensive lane from Virtus Pro. But this gives Chen free roam over this top lane, right? Chen can dive any hero in this lane. They have a ton of magic damage between Oracle and Juggernaut, so good luck surviving that. And there's the smoke.
Yeah, he's going to smoke it up. He's getting closer and closer. He's even going to find an Invis rune, but he will have that medallion soon enough. He'll pick up the Invis, looking to try to bring down CC&C. He has Stick and Fairy Fire. It seems that CC&C is kind of aware that something is happening. He's backed up to his tier 1 tower. In the meantime, Zai will find a couple of runes and try to stop Pasha from getting away with a couple of spirits, but Pasha should be fine. And CC&C, they're looking for the courier. They're going to wrap all the way around the tower, and CC&C...
This is a no-boot Storm Spirit mod. This man is
slow. He seems to know. They had a ward up on the high ground here. He's trying to just dip and dodge any way that he can.
He's juking.
And he actually is going to survive. The Oracle even came through. He was spotted, and now CCNC should be fine here. And Roger is going to maybe think about taking a different direction and just try to...
he comes back for round 2?
Drop a couple of wards down. Yeah, he wanted to get the ward down. I don't think they can do anything. They'll stop him from farming at the very least, but they're not going to find a kill at this point in the game.
Yep, very nice from Triple C to avoid that gank. Extremely important not to die before level 6, because then DK is going to hit that timing where he hits 6 before you, and then they can get ganked again.
And once CNC gets 6, he's honestly just fine at this point.
Yep.
Unless he gets like chain stun. But he's actually about to kill Solo alone. He's just not quite in range.
No
he was
shoes.
so close with that last overload proc to be able to get that kill. But yeah, no boots like you were talking about earlier. That will stop him from getting a nice solo kill onto Solo.
How fitting.
Indeed. So Solo will go ahead and use the Shrine. He's up to level 3. DK is level 6, though. This is what you were talking about.
I've
He's
got
level
bad
6
news,
to work
Mod.
with.
We've got the Rockman coming in mid lane with
Oh,
level
no.
6 Dragon Knight.
Not again. CCNC. How close is he to 6? Not close enough. The Dragon Tail will come out. There's the Hurl Boulder. The range on that is insane. The Pendants comes out to breathe fire, and they burst him down.
And
There's
Roger
nothing
takes
he
the
can
siege
do.
creep too, Mott, so this tower is going to get assaulted by a Dragon Knight and 2 wagons.
So that one kill is going to do a lot of work for Virtus Pro. At least it should. I think
Is
Elder
Roger-
Dragon Form is done in a few seconds, though. something to
Roger's just
consider.
waiting for him to come back to kill him again.
He's not 6 yet, and he's still not close. We
Yep.
just talked about it. And then
TP's back in. They see him
if
on the ward,
they
too.
kill him, he won't have another TP to work with. That's going to be disastrous. But they have another hero coming in, ready to go. It's the Oracle getting the Fortune's End off. The Hurl
Oh,
Boulder,
no.
the
Here
Hurl
comes
Boulder
the
should be ready.
family.
The Dragon Tail, the double Hurl Boulder actually does so much, and then the Purifying Flames able to burst him down. And that is CCNC dead twice, now without a TP scroll and no boots, and still not level 6. What a rough start for the Storm Spirit.
Well, where I come from, we call this the treatment. This is when you pick on someone. You wait for them to TP back, kill them again, make them walk all the way back down mid lane with no boots.
Yeah.
It's miserable.
I've seen this before, though, in terms of obviously the big story, Sumail playing at the original DAC on the Storm Spirit, dying 3 times in a row, then getting back into the game. I actually saw it the other day in the Chinese qualifiers for, I think it was Newbie, getting back into with SCCC. So it's something that, I mean, yeah, you're putting a lot of pressure onto CCNC, but this hero can take stacks in the jungle. He can get back into it. And again, when he gets level 6, it's harder to bring him down.
Well, this is different, Mon.
Blade Fury top. Good CP from 3-3. We'll keep him alive. He's going to head back home instead. Nothing they can do about that. But Virtus Pro, they get a couple of kills. They now start getting some vision on the map. Roger dropping a couple of wards down aggressively. And they have a 1K lead. And they have some good CS heroes. Pasha about to die to Pycat in the bottom lane with a rocket barrage coming in. The avalanche toss, though. Pasha will push him back, and Pi can't find the kill. Pasha was
baiting
close.
him in.
Yeah, he is. They have a ward, though. They will spot him out. The IO coming with a tether, healing him up, and now they're going to go with the flat cannon. Roger on the run. The Spirit's hitting him. The Centaur Conqueror Stomp comes in. Nice micro. Roger's still in trouble, though. Zai with a couple more auto attacks who do the job, and the flat cannon comes in as well. So Pycat will actually end up getting that kill, but Zai getting so close to falling.
Oh.
They will turn and get CC&C again in the mid lane for Solo.
So close to level 6. Literally 1 creep.
All right, this is a lot different. You're right. I'm not sure about this for CC&C. This feels pretty rough.
It's different because Virtus Pro has a whole lot of push, so they can keep snowballing this advantage into more and more, and then eventually they'll be able to close off the map to where CC&C just can't find the farm.
Omni Slash onto 3-3. He has no TP. He has phase boots, however. Regening up with the Salve. Solo's going to come in. He's got the Purifying Flames at level 2. The Fortune's End will come out. But now 3-3 is getting close to full HP. Anchor Smash. The Blade Fury is there. The Purifying Flames. He's close to death, and he will finally fall. The burst damage coming in from the Blade Fury and the Purifying Flames is enough to bring 3-3 down. And no one continues to pop the Elder Dragon form and put pressure on this Tier 1 tower in the mid lane.
Yep, a 2,000 gold lead at 8.5 minutes it's massive.
It's pretty rough. It is pretty rough for Optic, and you're exactly right about CCNC. They can start pushing down the towers together with the Chen, and he does have his medallion now, obviously. He's had it for a while, so they can start getting even more kills, but yeah.
You know, I'm struggling to see who's going to make the moves on Optic, right? Like, Storm Spirit can potentially do that, but of course he wants to farm, and they keep on scaling into the game, but look at these other heroes. Crystal Maiden, where can she go to start anything?
Well, they're going to go bottom with the Chen, or excuse me, the IO doing some damage to the Chen. Roger will get dropped down. Now the Rocket Barrage. Pasha's got some creeps around him. He's got the Tree Toss to come in. The IO Tether will come out, the Overcharge as well, and so Optic will be able to clear out the creep wave.
Is there another toss available?
Zai's getting pretty low. He needs to be careful, but it doesn't look like Pasha's going to be able to try to find that kill.
Yep. All right, well, there's the answer.
Yeah, you just dive Tier 1s with your IO Gyrocopter combination. Gyro is doing pretty well, 4,300 net worth at this point. He's behind the other 2 cores of Virtus Pro, but
He's doing very well.
He's going to have to do some work in this mid game and try to help them get back into it and make some space for CCNC especially.
That save from Zai where they're able to turn the Chen gank was massive.
CCNC will have to jump away in the mid lane as no one really wants to take control of this game and take the tier 1 tower, and he does just that, and he pushes him back.
And Optic smoke on a ward.
All right. That's not the way you want to do it.
That's very unfortunate. Look at this, no one. So tanky in the mid lane. He's got a full wand.
Not sure they can get the kill here. The Frostbite will come in, so will the call down as well. CCNC looking for the jump. He's going to do some damage. They have the send back from Chen, though, and he gets out in time. That could have been a huge kill, but Chen is there, ready to go.
Yep, and that's the beauty of being able to make a play when they smoke on a ward, right? They just bait it out, make them waste all their mana, cooldowns and everything, and then boom.
So it's a 3K lead now for Virtus Pro. They've taken a tier 1 tower. Ramses is getting space in the top lane. He's up to 4.9K net worth. The Chen is rotated. Now this tier 1 will fall as well. I don't think Optic are in position to defend this. They have Ravage and everything, but they can't really fight with it at this point. So,
right, it's Ravage, but how does he actually cast it in a meaningful way? Is he going to run on in with the phase boots against a Juggernaut who can just spin? Or, you know, Virtus Pro just have so much time to split up before the Ravage actually comes out. It doesn't feel meaningful until an item like a Blink Dagger or Force Staff comes out.
They see the Tide Hunter, they just run away from that location. Yeah, you can let Optic push and take their own tier 1, but it's more space in the other lanes for the rest of Virtus Pro to work with.
Tide goes through these weird phases where, like, the early Ravage is defensive, right? It prevents the enemy team from walking into you, but it's hard to use offensively because it's so much easier for VP just to split up as it comes out or just to prepare. But you know, this game plays off the Gyrocopter for now, right? Gyrocopter having a very good game, especially paired up with the Isle. Very strong.
He does have his phase drum. He's going to work on BKB next. This is the item we've talked about, the early BKB. You get that filler item in the drum or the Dragonlance, whichever you prefer, and then you go to that BKB, and maybe you can make something happen with it once you have the item. But for now, he's going to have to run. He doesn't want to try to deal with the 3 heroes in the bottom lane.
Oh, I like this from No One a lot. Goes for the Armlet build.
Yeah.
On Dragon Knight.
It's even tankier.
Yep. When you play against these team fight lineups, all you want to do is beef up so you can survive these cooldowns, especially with the Oracle on your team. It'll make that much easier. And then you just can't Ravage this guy. He's not going to die at all.
Something else we didn't really talk about, the spin TP of the Jug. Nothing they can really do about that. He's able to just spin out and TP away in the top lane and just get back to farming in the jungle now. So they can continue to split push. He's going to go for a Battle Fury. There's no reason not to. He's having a great game. And it'll secure the late game as well for the Juggernaut for the rest of VP.
Yep. While Virtus Pro have this very fast-paced early game in the Dragon Knight and Chen, they still also have very good late game, right? All these heroes scale extremely well. So it's not like they only have one game plan. You know what I mean? They can push, take these early towers for free, and then still take the time to farm up. Ramses is going for Battle Fury, so he'll be able to accelerate his farm quite a bit.
Yeah.
They have time.
Good news for Optic, they now do have the relocate for Zai. They will see Ramses, they have Ravage, they're going to gush him, he still has his spin, but it's up in 3 seconds actually. He needs to be a little careful, but he will be able to back away. The PPD Frostbite was not there in time, and CCNC didn't want to jump for it either. And CCNC still got a ways to go to get back into this game. He's only got Treads, Wand, Raindrop, Null Tally, and a Bottle, so there's not much he can do right now. He needs some more room to work with, but it's going to be tough as they continue to pressure this bottom lane with a DK.
You know, the way I always see it is that Storm Spirit, even if he was having a good game, he would still be farming anyways, right? So
right.
What's the real difference? Just takes a little longer to get to that same power spike.
Yeah, but that difference might be the tier 1 tower, the tier 2 tower is gone at that point.
It might be a lot of towers gone. It's pretty difficult when you're getting pushed.
Yeah. There's not much they can do here.
Yep.
They can just sit and watch.
But at least he has time now to farm.
And this is more time, though, for Ramses to get up to his Battle Fury. He just TP's top. They have this non-committal sort of push coming with the DK. He hits the tower once or twice. They back up. There's nothing really they can do to contest that.
Yeah. You know, it's not the most optimal situation. Everyone's farming. One team's farming a bit more than the other, but you got to take what you can get.
That's like Dota in a nutshell. That right there.
Yep.
One team farming more than the other. Well, there it is. They will smoke up for VP now. They're going to try to get something happening here. Pasha working on his Blink Dagger. He's getting close. 1,800 gold in the bank. And, of course, Roger, I think he's got another item coming out. She has 200 gold with Medallion along with it. So they have the items they need to make some action happen other than the Blink Dagger for the Tiny.
Very aggressive wards from VP. You have one on the top shrine here, then one in the bottom lane, looking for these solo kills. Yep.
There it is.
Yep, that ward just lets him get that solo kill.
And that'll happen a lot, I think, this game. If Ramses could just find somebody who could just Omni-Slash him, there's no repercussions for them. He still has a spin available. He's not really at any risk of dying, but he's actually baiting CCNC. No one has the Dragon Tail. He also has an Invis rune, but I think CCNC, if he sees Ramses coming in, he might know that something is up. And there are some good wards here for Optic to be able to scout out any other rotations from.
He might get spotted here.
CCNC is walking pretty far up at this point.
Oh, they see him.
No one's ready to go with the Dragon Tail. Ramses is nearby. He needs more heroes here, though. I think Ramsey's not quite in position. Now he is. Now they can go for it. I think there's the Dragon Tail stun coming in. They've got the Blade Fury. They've got the Avalanche. Pasha gets there just in time. And the Hand of God comes in as well, as they were trying to fight bottom, I believe. They were looking for solo. Zai and Pycat down here trying to find something, but Ramses has TP'd, and that will push them back. And they'll head back into the jungle.
Man, I would feel like I'd have a lot more faith in Optic's draft if the carry matchup wasn't so bad. Gyrocopter against the Juggernaut does almost nothing to him, right? All the magic community.
They're going to relocate. They're going to try to find Roger. They will get the kill, but they've lost PPD already to a couple of other heroes in the top lane. They will get the kill on the Chen, though, and that is a relocate gank actually successful. They did use Ravage with it, though, and that is now down for another 2 minutes and a few seconds on top of that.
You know, it looks weird to Ravage a Chen, but it's definitely worth it in that scenario.
And they're going to ball into Ramsey's bottom lane. There's the pull. They have enough damage. He's got spin. He's got the healing ward. The Rocket Barrage. They have to take him down. The auto attacks might be enough. More zips from CCNC. One more should do it. He's not quite dead yet, but the spirits from Zai will do the job. They find 2 quick kills across the map using the relocate and getting in with CCNC. Nicely done from Optic, but it's still a 4K deficit for them as Virtus Pro continue to take control of this top lane for no one.
That was an extremely big kill, being able to kill the split pushing Juggernaut. We talked about the spin being basically immunity to the lineup, right? There's no cancels for it at all. It just didn't come out early enough. I think he didn't expect it, honestly.
That Storm Zip, yeah, he was not expecting the follow-up there. And the level 1 pull for CCNC as well, so the Electric Vortex, not the best in terms of trying to find that kill, but they did get it, and that will give him some extra farm to work with in getting back into this game. And he'll just sit in the jungle for a little while, potentially trying to get up to that Bloodstone, which is the item that he's currently queued up with.
Yeah, every kill buys Optic Gaming more time to hit their core items. The BKB on the Gyrocopter, the Bloodstone on the Storm Spirit. That Ravage, I wanted to go back to it about the Chen. It's totally worth it, right? Because when VP come up to your towers anyways, there is no way to defend with the Ravage, right? They're going to take it eventually.
Yes.
It's not about that anymore. They just need to be able to find whatever kills they can on the map and just trade for their objectives.
And by getting the Chen, they also slow down the tower push.
Yep.
Not able to get extra.
They wipe out the creep army as well.
Yeah. VP, though, will head into the Roche pit now. They're going to try to take this. And they're doing with Pasha as well as Ramses and a couple of creeps in here as well. They've got the medallion with the Chen obviously making things easier, and it doesn't look like Optic know this is happening. And even if they do, they don't have Ravage for another 38 seconds. So this should be Roche
it dies so
and
fast.
Aegis for VP, no problem.
Yep, with the Penitent, the medallion doesn't stand a chance, and the Alpha Wolf creep. Oh, that's the result of happening to use a Ravage for one hero, right? Enemy team can just go for any objective freely on the map, but honestly, they couldn't stop it anyways, even if they did have it.
Yeah, it's super tough to fight into. They also need the BKB for Pycat, and he's close to that. Maybe if he has that item, they can fight into that Roche. But at this point, they're just waiting on that item and trying to get CCNC some more farms. So they're going to make something happening top, potentially.
They might want to get Pasha.
Yeah, they're going to jump in with the Storm. They're going to try to go for the pull, but Pasha actually is able to get away for now. And the Gush.
Oh my goodness, this is so awkward. The fog around the trees cancels the Gush like 3 times.
There are like 3 or 4 heroes up here, and they just can't do anything to them. They have the solo Oracle now with False Promise up ready to go. They just use the Fate's Edict. They have to back up. They don't want to try to go too aggressively. So
that was Pasha blinking into the fog.
Yep.
Finds a Crystal Maiden on accident.
Yep.
And then he lives.
Somehow.
Yep.
CCNC jumped at the same time, couldn't quite find the pull, which again is still only level 1. They're looking for the DK in the bottom lane. They're going to pop the drum. They want to go for this. The Dragon Tail coming in. They've got Call Down, but again, no one.
Chain
Kind of speedy, the homing
VP.
missile. I don't think they're going to go for this. Yeah, they're too worried about the rest of the team from Virtus Pro coming in. And in fact, they are behind him. Ramses was looking for an Omni Slash. He's got Aegis to work with. He's got his Battle Fury up now too. Call Down will go just to farm some creeps. No one is looking for some sort of initiation. He might find it on Pycat, but he is pretty speedy. The toss in coming in for Pasha. There's the Dragon Temple. They're under the Tier 1 tower. The Rock Barrage, the spin. The False Promise gets off in time. It's a lot of damage, but they should be able to still bring him down. They have Ravage. They actually get the blink off in time, and somehow he's alive. No one getting healed up. They have him at full HP now from Solo. That is the False Promise coming in onto the DK.
The False Promise combo with the Healing Ward. Man, oh man.
They dove onto the Tier 1 tower, and they're still able to keep him alive. And now they're going to turn this into a Tier 1 tower along with it.
That's such a crazy interaction that you don't actually... You can still blink when you're False Promised, you know, because you don't actually take damage till after the effect. Gets him out of trouble.
Yeah, that Blink Dagger, pretty big purchase because of that. Speaking of other items, 3-3 has picked up a medallion along with a Pipe of Insight. He thought about going Blink, but he will queue that up as his next item. So for now, they just want to have pipe for when Virtus Pro ball up and try to take a fight against them.
Yep, looks good. Tide's getting very tanky.
Just the dink from the homing missile, but DK is still having a great game. He is tied. They are literally at the same net worth. They're both at 9-6-4-4 at this point. In the meantime, though, Pasha jumping in looking for an avalanche. Good zip from CCNC to get him out of trouble. PPD is there along with 3-3. Tidehunter's ready to go. They do have Ravage, but I don't think they want to use the fight here. They're going to back themselves up instead and just sit maybe at the Tier 2 tower. They have the relocate available, I believe, if they want to use it to try to take an engagement. But for now, Ramses is just going to come up. He still has the Aegis to work with. He'll drop the healing ward, and the push will continue on for the rest of VP.
Yep.
Now the jump toss back. They found another target.
Nicely
That's going
done.
to be a big kill. If they can bring him down, they will. At CC dead and 3-3 getting low. They will get the relocate off, and now no one needs to be careful. They should have a false promise ready. I don't think so. Actually, they get off the Fate's Edict in time. The Rocket Barrage coming in. Purifying Flames. He's still alive for now, getting healed up as well. The Rocket Barrage continues, and no one should finally get dropped down, and he will. And now CC is getting jumped on. He uses the false promise for himself. He'll try to go for the TP. He should be able to get out the Rocket Barrage. He's in the well, and he should live, I believe. Yes, he's fine. Good stuff. So they do bring down no one, but they lose CCNC for it. And he bought back too. The Storm bought back throughout that fight. Oh.
That was so lucky from Optic. Like Solo's false promise was like 2 seconds off cooldown.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden the Storm that bought out jumps him. And then he can't get the ultimate off on no one's Dragonite and no one dies.
So they get something out of it, but they do have to use the buyback. So
Yes.
the Bloodstone will be a little delayed.
That just shows, you know, it's pretty desperate, right? They need to make sure that they can potentially win these fights, that they can secure these small skirmishes. Because if they can't, then VP can just knock down these towers for free. That was a clean initiation from Pasha, though. Blinks in, tosses him back on top of the DK. DK stuns. Nicely done.
Yeah, that's just the chains. They've got CCNC locked down again. This might be another death. He actually is able to jump himself out to safety, but still very dangerous. So the lockdown is there. The toss back was, yeah, it's a good combination.
Well, Roger teleporting on top of himself. Unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. Nobody saw it, Roger. You're fine.
It happens.
Yeah. No big deal. He's got the Harpy Stormcrafter. He's got a couple of extra creeps with him. He's working on an Aghanim Scepter. He's actually rather close to it, too, which is going to be pretty nice. What is the Gyrocopter building? What have we seen him get? He has the full BKB, obviously, which he had for a while. He's now building to a Butterfly. Gets some extra damage, some evasion, which is going to be pretty nice to have.
Yep, looks good.
He needs some more damage to work with, and he's going to be the one that is able to carry this game at this point because top net worth hero, he still needs to make more room for CCNC. They are smoked up at the top lane, actually, baiting out 3-3. Virtus Pro are close with two of their heroes, but I don't think they're going to go for anything. They're just going to let 3-3 hit the tower. They will scan behind and see that, in fact, Optic are here ready to go to jump after 3-3 gets jumped on.
Yep, just trying to bait the Tidehunter. Looks good.
Here's the TPs. They're ready to go. Let's start things off with a jump it from Pasha. 3-3's low. The Omni Slash gets the Ravage off, but the Omni Slash is still going on to Peter Pan Dam. He's going to get caught and almost killed. The Freezing Field does get off for a decent while, but it's a double kill for Ramses now. They're looking for more on Zai, who has relocated, but 3 seconds. Can he make it out in time? It's going to be close. One more auto attack. He does make it away.
Oh,
but
no.
He actually had like 10 HP, I'm pretty sure, when he got out of there at the end.
That was so sad. The toss actually saved his life there.
That was
Ramses
huge.
was in the middle of his auto attack animation. What a shame. But still, VP managed to take that. It's the confidence coming from this team, right? They scan. They know they're there. Doesn't matter. We're still going to jump this tanky Tidehunter with people behind them. They know that the relocate has to come out, so it takes 3 seconds before they can actually get into the team fight. And look at what Tide has to Ravage, right? Ramses using his Omni Slash. Ravage, what's it going to do? It's going to land on the Tiny who's already used his full combo. That doesn't prevent any damage.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can actually do to survive there.
And that's just going to be more farm and more net worth for Virtus Pro up to a 7k net worth advantage. They take the tier 2 tower in the top lane. Optic have held on pretty nicely. They haven't lost too many of their outer towers, despite just losing that tier 2 tower.
Yeah.
They still have a lot of farm on Pyket as well.
Even though that team fight did not go Optic Gaming's way, they're still doing pretty well, actually. Gyrocopter is extremely farmed. Tide is tanking up as well. The big problem is Storm Spirit's farm at the moment, right?
He's
it's
just
very
so
difficult.
far behind.
Yes, he's having a very difficult time trying to find the farm. Virtus Pro are on the sides of the map looking for these solo heroes, trying to find the pickoffs, and Storm's a prime target for that.
Zai is so lucky to be alive. He had like 20 HP. They just needed one more crit, and they couldn't get it.
Yep.
He did a lot of damage, but yeah, the toss, he might have died had he not done it. You're right. That's just unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but makes no real difference, right?
Yeah. It's just it's an IO. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
They still got a tier 2
speaking of
tower. And they might find him anyways. Good tether, actually, just in time as the Avalanche came in. Now they're looking to jump in. They found Pycat. He has his BKB. He's not able to get it off yet. Still finally fighting with this rocket barrage coming in. And no one might be in trouble, actually. They get off the hand of God. It's not going to keep him alive, though. They didn't have Solo there with a false promise. And now Roger's going to get jumped down. Ramses is in. They pop the BKB for Pycat. There's the Omni Slash. They're going to tank it up with all of these heroes with Pycat. He takes a lot of damage, and they have dropped down PPD. They're jumping in with a toss. It's a double kill for Ramses with the spin now up there. And Roger's still getting chased down. Pycat getting healed up with the overcharge. Pasha is in with the Avalanche on 2, though. They don't have the Ravage available. The false promise comes out just in time on the Roger. That'll keep him alive. There's another toss back from Pasha, who's in deep. An ultra kill. Can he get the Rampage? 3-3 might be next. The 5th and final kill. One more auto attack. They want to give it to him, but the Purifying Flame Seal is keeping him alive. And now he's just juking and jiving, trying to find any way to survive. And finally, the Average comes in, and they actually get the Rampage. They wanted to give it to him, and they did. Virtus Pro give Ramses the Rampage, the wicked 6 spree. What a fight. What an initiation for Pasha, and what a huge false promise to keep Roger alive.
Man, that fight started off so well for Optic, too. No one blinks in, and he dies. He focuses down the gyrocopter that they just can't kill in the very beginning. Goes down, but it doesn't matter.
It was a good effort.
It was.
I mean, the Omni Slash made it so that Pycat really couldn't fight. He took the majority of the slashes despite them all being grouped up. But Pasha just came in. He had some great avalanche tosses. And
it's funny how that works, right? Omni Slash comes out. You want to help tank it for each other, so you get close. He's got the Battle Fury to cleave. It's
and
tough.
then he just takes too much damage.
Yep.
This was so funny. The Purifying Flames actually kept him alive for so long. He just keeps getting healed up. And then at the end, they were just like, all right, just avalanche him, please. And then the Pendants comes down, and that's an easy kill. An easy Rampage for Ramses. They get it done. Now he's up to an SNY, a Butterfly that he has just picked up along with the Battle Fury. He is 4K ahead of the next closest person, and of course, it's the Gyrocopter at this point. Ramses is super farmed, and they now have a 13K net worth advantage for Virtus Pro.
Yep, his farm has skyrocketed now.
Oh, and we forgot to talk about the Aghanims on the Chen as well, who now has the Ancient Black Dragon, the Ancient Granite Golem to work with. So I think he also has the Thunderhide too.
Yep, look at just how Ramses can play. Just goes back to no stuns through the spin, nothing instant as well, right? Nothing he has to worry about, no Sand King stun blink or anything like that. Just makes it so easy for him to split push around the map.
Yeah, I don't know how they kill him now that he has Butterfly SNY.
Come on, Zai's level 12, almost 15.
He's almost 15. He's
That's
almost
right.
got the Side Gunner for the Gyrocopter, or...
Side Gunner essentially doubles your damage.
Exactly. Or the Ags of the Tidehunter, which you thought might be the best.
It looks cool. That's about it, though.
When's the next... the question is, when's the next tome? Probably, I guess, in 3 minutes. So we'll see if he buys it.
Yep.
They are smoking CC&C, Blink, Dragon Tail. Where's the follow-up? They don't have any further stuns. The Breathe Fire coming in. He's actually already super low. The Omni Slash, the Cleave, Zai about to fall. The Ravage comes in, but where's the counter initiation? They're not really doing that much damage. The Hand of God coming in. They're trying to find a kill. They will. It's Ramses. The Freezing Field comes out as well for PPD. They're turning this around. The BKB is up for the DK, but they've already done so much work. Pasha in trouble with the Rocket Barrage. They've stunned him. They're about to drop him down with a couple more auto attacks. Pycat gets a double kill. It's everybody with the exception of no one dead. All 4 of them getting dropped down by the Pycat Gyrocopter and that Blink Ravage from 3-3. Oh my God. Look at the damage from Pycat. Actually doing so much work in that fight, Brex.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, but Brox
so that's
is
what
not
happens when Tidehunter gets Blink, huh?
That's the item.
Pretty good.
They weren't expecting it for sure.
No, definitely not. They didn't know his item progression at all, and it just came out randomly in that team fight. Very nice.
They must have gotten so much gold from Ramses. He was up like 4K net worth onto Pycat. Now Pycat's got some extra gold to work with, and they're going to take Roach too. There's nothing they can do about this. They have buyback on Ramses, but there's no Tiny for 20 seconds, and they don't have Elder Dragon form either. This might go straight to Optic. There is no Ravage, obviously, but still, no one's going to come over. He's going to Blink, Breathe Fire. But I think they're fine. I think they've got this.
Yeah, they can't fight this. No DK ultimate. Still heroes being dead.
This is Aegis and Cheese, by the way. And they'll grab the Aegis 4C. Oh, it was snatched? They actually got the last hit. Oh, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Oh, that's actually unbelievable. I think it was the Ancient Black Dragon Fire. I'm not sure what it was, but...
Was it the fire, or what? Or was it
Did
Solo?
DK walk in and, like, breathe fire or something?
Solo nuked... I think he nuked it over the wall with the Purifying Flame.
We need somebody to come in and to have the...
I'm not actually sure. It might have been the fire.
We need the drop-down menu, the combat log. We don't have that available. I do, but hold on. It's going to take me a while. That's a lot of effort, let me be honest with you.
I can't operate that thing.
Exactly, that's how I feel.
We need a professional for that.
And somebody like Knoxville or Trent.
All right, so this game is taking a turn for the worse for VP. I mean, we have an even game, essentially, right? It's still a 10K gold advantage,
exactly.
but Gyrocopter is massive. You have this Aegis and Cheese on the side of Optic Gaming to work with, too.
And Ravage is going to be back up here in 25 seconds, something to consider. That's what really kind of turned the fight in Optic's favor last time around.
Yep. So Optic Gaming's team fight, it's not Tidehunter Blink Ravaging to start the fight. It's Tidehunter Blink Ravaging to interrupt the fight from VP. That's how it has to play out every time, or else they just won't have enough damage to burst these heroes. Here we go. Let's see what happens
Was
here.
it the Oracle?
I don't know.
I think it might have been.
It's a,
Yeah, he Purifying Flamed it. Oh my god, he walked up.
that was beautiful.
He literally walked up and just like got him.
Solo, the true mathematician. He's pretty good with numbers, I hear.
Is that what you hear? I don't know if I've heard that. Brax, you know something I don't about Virtus Pro, I suppose.
He's famous for the numbers, mod.
Okay.
He clearly calculated that one out there.
We're going to avoid that. The numbers. They're going to jump onto Solo. He's going to get caught. The numbers won't save him now. He's dead for 55 seconds. That's a nice little pickup and another Bloodstone charge for CC&C.
Yeah.
Ramses is just split pushing away, though.
Oh, man.
This guy is actually doing so much damage. That tier 3 is gone. He spin TPs. He's out of there, Ramses.
Shrine's available now.
They are looking at the tier 1 tower for Optic, though. They're going to get a tower of their own. Obviously not as important, but still.
What we just witnessed there is a big problem for Optic Gaming, right? There is no answer to that.
How do you deal with that?
There's no potential Abyssal Blade buyers.
None.
At all.
Yeah.
You can never deal with that.
So that will always be in the back of your mind if you're Optic. Time to keep the bottom wave pushed out then.
Yep.
And every other wave possible, as the top is getting pushed in now too. But Optic want to group up. They want to try to take down this tier 2 tower.
Yeah.
Definitely
Their team
can fight.
when they're together is still extremely strong.
Yeah.
Gyro's really tanky with that the butterfly and the IO tether to keep him alive, keep him healthy.
By the way, the DK picked up an MKB, which is an interesting choice for that hero, but it makes sense. There's a butterfly in this game, obviously, that you have to deal with.
I mean, we saw from the damage charts before, it's all from Gyrocopter. He does all the damage.
And now we have 2 MKBs. They just picked up the one on Ramses as well. So that butterfly, not going to do as much as it would otherwise.
Yep.
What is PyCat building next? He
has Satanic in his
Yeah,
profile.
Satanic.
Yeah.
So he will be taking in other ways other than just the evasion.
Yep, it'll help him survive the burst, and he can heal up really quickly. Looks good.
Run Pasha. He's out of there.
He heard you.
Yeah, he got out. So yeah, I mean, this is the issue though for Optic. I mean, they can group up and they can fight when they want to, but they have to constantly keep these waves pushed. Storm is good at that though. Obviously, he's starting to get online. He's working on his Orchid now along with his Bloodstone that he already has. So
yeah.
This will be one way they can answer the split push problem. It's CC&C.
I mean, the Storm will scale extremely well into this game. He's another hero that you just have to be able to lock down. And then if that situation happens again where they're unable to kill him right away, there's the Ravage.
Ravage coming in. This could be a big kill if they can find the Frostbite. That is Ramses now dead, and they're looking for one more. No one's getting run out as well. They're going to try to send him back, and they should be able to do so, but now Raj is going to give his life. He's trying to get out, but they have the call down. They have the damage from PyCat. That is going to be 2 dead, and no Ramses for 70 seconds, and they are already keeping these waves pushed out for Optic as well, except for this mid lane, which is a bit of an issue.
The Chen creeps are tough. But still, big pick for Optic, being able to find Ramses like that. You know, with the lack of stuns, we see the Ravage needing to be committed, but it's so worth it. You do that every time.
Getting that kill, he's the top net worth hero in the game. All right, that career. That had a Satanic on it, I think.
Oh, boy.
No,
yep.
he still needed the other items, but it would have been at least a Reaver.
It's got the Reaver, so now he can't complete a Satanic until it respawns, so.
That's a little rough.
Same thing, essentially.
But they do get some more map control. They find the second tier 2 tower. There is a still surviving tier 1 tower in the top lane for Virtus Pro, so Optic still have a ways to go in terms of map control and getting the last of these outer towers. But if they can get Ramses like that again, they might be able to get a lot more than just that tier 2 tower.
Yeah, eventually they'll be able to build into items that help with catch as well. Storm Spirit, Great Hex Carrier.
Yeah, he's working on a BKB now, though. At least that's what's in his quick buy.
Yeah, looks good. These long extended fights for Optic Gaming favor them so much more than it does for VP, because eventually the spin from Ramses and Omni Slash will run out, and then it sets up the big Ravage, right? Which they just can't team fight into.
So then what do you do if you're VP? It feels like you've lost momentum here in the past few minutes. I mean, how do you just continue to split push like they've been doing? Is that the option that you take for VP?
Well, it's a good answer for now because it'll help them acquire more farm, right? Ramses can keep doing what he's doing and just play on the side lanes. It's very difficult to catch him out. It is possible, as we've seen before, but it's still extremely difficult to do. And They'll hit a point eventually where Ramses has so much damage and he's so tanky that he can just click the buildings. Right, he's working on a BKB next, which looks really good.
Yeah.
That way he'll be able to ignore the Ravage and not have to worry about that. Eventually, no one will get to, some more damage items as well.
They're going to try to push in. They have Ramses going to work. They're going to use the Orchid, but now the spin comes in, or rather he actually has the DK coming with a Dragon Tail. The Frostbite comes out. They have the False Promise ready. They're trying to push into the buildings, but it's tough to push into with Flat Cannon now going. They've got the pull into no one. They want to commit the False Promise, but he pops the BKB instead. Pycat's there. He's fine for now. Still just man fighting. No one is trying to take down the buildings, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. But now the BKB will be done, and they might need to back up with Frostbite about to be coming in from PPD. And looks like they might stay for now.
I think Pasha's looking to see if he can catch one of these key heroes and toss him back into the DK stunt to try to start a team fight like that. But no BKB up under Dragonite, just time to back out.
Yeah, so that's going to be Elder Dragon form and BKB down now.
Yeah, they've got a pretty big window on the side of Optic where they can just keep farming.
They have
try
Ravage.
to take back map control.
Yeah, they could just continue to get back into this game with this Storm Spirit. It is now a 7K lead for Virtus Pro, and it was at one point, I think, a 14K lead, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Which is pretty significant. And yeah, that's just gone.
Optic's team fight is so strong when they're in the base because they won't be able to dive deep to find this IO, right? You need to be able to kill the IO so that Gyrocopter isn't so tanky, so you can actually burst him down before the Ravage comes in. But
he's got the level 16, by the way. I don't know if we've talked about this since then. He has the talent. Meanwhile, CCNC is jumping onto the Oracle in the jungle, and this might be a nice solo kill. They get off the Hand of God. The Oracle's not going to be enough. He's got the Disarm coming. He's got the False Promise now used. It's a long usage, but they will try to go for the kill. It might not be enough.
Let's see if he did the math here, Mon.
Did Solo have the numbers? Yeah, he's got the numbers.
He's a numbers man.
And there's going to be the Silver Edge coming out. The Tidehunter in trouble. Is still alive. He pops the pipe. He's still broken, but still fine for now. Ramses is chasing him down, but the blink comes out from 3-3, and he will be able to get away in time. So False Promise was committed, but they didn't get the kill onto Solo, which would have been nice to get. But still, Optic are starting to really get it out of the map. Start getting more map control down in the bottom lane and the mid lane as well.
Optic are coming back. This gold lead is getting smaller and smaller.
I think the Courier is back alive. It is, so it should have the Reaver, and he's going to TP back and get it. He actually has it in his stash now, and so...
So he has the full Satanic, the Cheese,
He just bought an MKB too, straight up.
My goodness.
So Gyro does a lot of damage, and he now has Side Gunner too. As long as the IO tethers him throughout the fight, and remember, it's 2 extra second tether. You made fun of me for this earlier into the cast.
That's very relevant, though.
It is.
Because that's another second of the Side Gunner.
Yeah, it's actually, I think, pretty important for the IO here, and for Gyrocopter in general, and just doing all of this damage.
Yeah.
Now he's working on a Moon Shard next. So, I mean, you have a late game Pycat versus a late game Ramses, late game Gyro versus late game Jug. Plus, obviously, the other heroes to help out, but...
Yep, for me, this game is on the Storm. When he actually picks up more and more items, he's actually getting quite farmed now.
Yeah.
I know his net worth looks a little wimpy sitting there in the mid, but it's not bad at all.
He's going to go for the pull. The Dragon Tail immediately coming out, and now CCNC is in trouble. But the Blink Ravage comes in. Where's the fault? They've got the Frostbite coming in as well. The call down. Ramses is dead, and Pasha has to run. No one pops the BKB. CC is looking for Solo in the back line. He gets up the False Promise, but that's onto himself. They find a triple kill for Pycat. They're about to find 4. Solo is in trouble. He's going to get dropped down. He's got the healing going through the False Promise along with the Purifying Flames, but it will not keep him alive. It's 4 dead. Virtus Pro. They almost lose 5. They might lose 5. They will lose 5. No one gets dropped down as well. All 5 dead. Now only a 2K lead for Virtus Pro. Optic have turned it back around, and they're now going to push into the tier 3. There's only 1 buyback. Virtus Pro, they might lose Rax here. That is unbelievable from Optic.
Come on, just Rax? We're talking Side Gunner damage here.
That's the important note, and the Side Gunner damage will come in. They will take the tier 3 tower, no problem. There is a glyph available. They only have 1 buyback. They now have 2 as Roger gets it available as well, but will they be able to do anything here? I don't think so. No Jug for 33 seconds, no Tiny for 28. This is going to be 2 sets of Rax, but it won't be more than that. Maybe a tier 4, but they still have the tier 2 in the top lane, and that will stop them there, I believe. This Rax will go down in the bottom lane, but there's not much VP can do other than look. They're sitting back at their Ancient at this point. 2 sets of Rax down.
These buybacks essentially doing nothing because they still can't fight. They need to wait for everyone else.
They just, yeah, they bought back essentially. They didn't get anything out of it.
Ramses gets pulled. Out comes the Ravage.
What a Ravage from 3-3.
Oh, beautiful.
And then the call down, the Side Gunner. Pycat does so much damage. He blows them away.
Yep, CCNC gets the Orchid off on Solo's Oracle, so we can't actually cast any key abilities to save people. And then fight's over at that point.
NA Dota coming back in a big way here. 2 sets of racks up on the former major winner, the last major winner, and VP. They're going to try to head into Roche now. A 6K advantage for Optic. They have no Ravage. CC's going to look for Solo, though. They've got the Orchid. Good hand of God to keep him alive, but Pycat coming in, doing so much damage. Now they've got the Omni Slash. It's not going to do that much, other than maybe bring down 3-3, but no one in trouble trying to man fight. His BKB is done. It's a double kill for Pycat. Ramses will get himself a double kill, but he's low, and he's got a man fight against this Gyrocopter, who is absolutely gigantic, and that is it. It is GG. Optic able to turn it around from a 15K deficit. They bring the game back. They win the game, and now up 1-0 in this Swiss format, Brax.
Wowzers. What a game.
Oh, my Lord. That was unbelievable.
It's getting hot over here, Mike.
It certainly is. I've taken my jacket off. It's getting a little warm, folks, let me tell you. Whew.
God, that... So, when you look at this game, do you think... No doubt Optic played very well. But I can't help but feel like VP did kind of throw this game a bit overconfident. They took some fights into the Ravage. I mean, there were just so many beautiful Ravages that just turned the entire game.
I mean, they weren't expecting the Blink Ravage to come out when it did, but that was the big turnaround. No one died a lot, too. I was surprised.
Yeah, this fight is where I wanted to illustrate, like, how VP have to take the fights, right? If you jump this Gyrocopter, he's not going to get bursted right away. Of course, Omni Slash comes out, they're all grouped up, and they just get annihilated, but if you end up jumping these tanky heroes into the aisle, there's always going to be that Tidehunter counter-initiation in the future.
Yeah. And this was a pretty good fight for VP, all things considered. And Ramses just went off. This was, I think, the...
How often do you get a Rampage at 25 minutes and lose the game?
That to me was insane. They lost the fight right after this, I believe. This is where the 3-3 like had the Blink Ravage coming out after this fight, and you could see his Blink was like 100 gold away at this point. He goes down. That's so Rampage for Ramses, and then they take that other fight, and then all of that gold that Ramses just got gives Pycat so much more when he gets the kill, or rather whoever got the kill.
They actually don't kill CC and C when they jump here, and then that sets up the beautiful Ravage from 33.
And Zai was even dead in that fight, but CC jumps a long way in. Pycat has a great call down. Even Peter had a pretty good ulti for the most part too, but then they bursted down Ramses. His spin was over. There's not much he could do. They did plenty of damage to him, and then they were just all falling just shortly thereafter, and Pycat finds that big double. So
VP just hit a wall where they were unable to burst any of the heroes in Optic Gaming. Gyrocopter got tanky, Tidehunter got super tanky, and they just keep jumping these heroes without the damage to finish them off before the Ravage comes out every time.
So what do you think? I mean, in terms of MVP, we have to talk about Pycat, obviously. Is there anybody else that stands out in your mind?
I mean, I think Pycat in 33, it was definitely...
1-2.
Yeah, it was them this game, the entire way. They played very well, but they also played very well as a team. So it's hard to point out an individual, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you also have to consider, I mean, even Zai just being there, getting to level 16, helping him out with the side gunner.
Yeah.
Actually, again, we talked about CC and C2, the fact that he got...
Yeah, let's talk about his recovery in this game, right? He recovered very well in this game. Net worth not at the top of the charts or anything, but still, he's got his basic items, BKB, Orchid. He had everything he needed.
He needed everything. Yeah, exactly. He had everything he needed in order to fight in the way that he did.
Yep.
And so, despite him dying numerous times, and I talked about it in the beginning of the game, it's happened so many times for Storm Spirits, but you don't need that many items to be involved when you have this massive Gyrocopter and this Tidehunter to work with.
Exactly.
In
it's
order
a team
to get these
game,
kills.
Lon.
Exactly.
You've got a team behind you. Don't worry. You may have died a couple times in the game, but you know what happens. You got your teammates to bail you out. But those items let him play those fights in a way where even if you got initiated on, it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Right? He was still able to survive, to keep making moves. It was great.
Yeah. So we'll take a look at the scoreboard, and honestly, it was back and forth all over it. I mean, they had a 14K net worth advantage at one point that dwindled down in the span of minutes for Optic Gaming. I mean, they absolutely came back and crushed it at the end of the game there. A lot of fighting happening, too. A lot of action in terms of just hero kills in general.
When you look at the score lines on this team, you see CCNC's 1-7 and 12 Storm, and you think, well, he probably didn't win the game.
Yeah.
He owned.
He actually owned.
He did well.
You got to give him credit for finding Solo in the back line. In 90% of those fights at the end of the game, he would zip in Orchid Solo. Nothing Solo could do. He can't get off the false promise. And that's why it was so tough to bring down no one in the beginning of the game, because they had that false promise to fall back on in order to keep the DK alive. We saw it earlier where he blinked out underneath that tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. He just kept getting jumped on. So Solo just couldn't have that same impact. So
he even had the Glimmer Cape, but of course, Optic Gaming had a gem. They gave it to the Storm Spirit, and he was able to find the Oracle every time. It was fantastic.
So we talked about the MVP. Let's see what everybody else thinks. I personally thought it was PyCat, and there it is. And in fact, is PyCat. And it's hard to argue with that type of game from PyCat. And he's showing that despite him being around the game for a long time, he's still got the stuff. And he absolutely crushed it in this game, Bryce.
Look at those flames coming off him. He's hot.
He's real hot.
Yep.
He is burning up now, and that is a big game from the carry of Optic. They did some serious work down in that bottom lane with the IO and the gyrocopter together. They were the one lane that was going extraordinarily well at the beginning of the game, and it showed at the end of the game.
Yep, very nicely played. That's one of those games you got to feel great about winning. You know?
I mean, it's a best of one. This is what we were talking about. Anything can happen in the best of one.
You're talking about underdogs, and I was saying that underdogs don't win.
I said Optic had a pretty good shot, and they definitely did. And they take the game. They take it against Virtus Pro. So now Virtus Pro down 0-1 in the Swiss format. Of course, Optic are up now 1-0. And that could be huge later on into the the upcoming days for this tournament.
It's the beauty of best of ones. Players hate them. We love them.
That's right. They're great fun. So with that, though, I think we will take it to a break. We have our next game coming up. That will be TNC versus Mineski, an all-SEA affair. That looks to be one of the best games of the day. Make sure you guys stick around. We'll be right back.